Hey guys, if you like the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on with the bell. Thank you. What's up guys, Partywaffles here, and I'm coming at you guys with a 9.1 Frost DK guide. If you don't know who I am, I'm a 3000 experienced Death Knight as both Frost and Unholy, and I'm here today to make a Frost DK guide for you guys, for the new talents, the new PvP talents, etc. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so today in this guide, we're going to cover talents, we're going to cover PvP talents, we're going to cover the stat priority, we're going to cover rune forges, and we're going to cover legendaries, rotation and burst, and as well as soulbinds. So we're going to start this off with the PvP talents. Sorry, with the normal talents rather. So I'm going to explain them all to you one at a time here. Okay guys, so for the first row here, we're gonna have Inerexible Assault, Icy Talons, Cold Heart. So Inerexible Assault is gonna be the one you're gonna be choosing, okay? There's no other option here for the first row, it's just this, which is gonna make your Obliterate hit harder just passively, okay? Which is your main damage ability. So secondly here, we have Icy Talons. This is more so it increases your attack speed, right? So say you're in PvE and you're dual wielding. You're going to be keeping the stacks up of this at all times with your Frost Strike. So this is a dual wield PvE talent, okay? And Cold Heart, again, is another PvE talent. So this is going to be the one here. The next row, Runic Attenuation, Murderous Efficiency, Horn of Winter. It's going to be Murderous Efficiency. It pairs up perfectly with Obliteration because you're going to be getting free Killing Machine procs with your Obliteration. You can use this too, but it's weaker. But you could, honestly, it could be a little bit more defensive for you because you're going to have extra runic power. And now that Death Strike actually does something, it could actually be pretty strong. Because I forgot to mention, they did unnerf Death Strike. So the Death Strike healing went from 50% to 75%. So that's one thing to note in this guide, okay? The next line here is going to be Death Reach, Asphyxiate, Blinding Sleep. Generally, you're not going to play this, okay? But generally, you wouldn't play Asphyxiate either. You would play Blind last season. But I could see potential for Asphyxiate now in pair with Strangulate. Because with those two things alone, you could Asphyxiate into a Strangulate and do a go on somebody yourself. But what I've been doing personally, and everybody I've seen has been doing, is using Blinding Sleet. So you're going to grip them, you Blinding Sleet, stun, and then out of your stun, you use your Strangulate out. And that's actually a pretty crazy combo from what I've been seeing. So I'm going to say go with Blinding Sleet still. Because Blinding Sleet can be used offensively to blind their team for a go. It can be used defensively to blind the entire team on their other team's go, to stop their damage on cooldowns, etc. So that's pretty insane. The next row we have Avalanche, Frozen Pulse, Frostlight. Sorry about that. I got something in my throat. I don't know. So Avalanche is the choice here, right? So it's going to cause your Howling Blast Rhyme procs to make icicles fall. So basically it's just like extra cleave damage at the end of the day. Frost Scythe is more, it replaces your Obliterate, right? So you don't really want that. It's more for Mythic Plus. And Frozen Pulse, while you have fewer than 3 full runes, your auto attacks radiate intense cold, inflicting 163 frost damage on all nearby enemies. So it just makes your auto attacks radiate damage, which pairs up with this Icy Talons. So these two are PvE. You can use those two together. It's a good combo. And the next thing we have here, this row is situational, okay? You can pick, out of this row, you can pick whatever you like, all right? Personally, for me, I'm a Wraithwalk kind of guy. I like to get out of the slows. I like to get out of the roots. I like to be able to kite people with chains better with it. That kind of thing. But you can also use Permafrost. It's just a shield. So if you have a lot of auto attack uptime, you could use this. I don't really recommend it that much with a two-hander, but it's doable. It's doable. But the last one we have is Death Pact. So it's going to create a Death Pact that heals you for 50% of your health, but absorbs 30% of the heal that you got in max health. But this is good for, it's a good emergency button too. It's a longer cooldown than Wraithwalk, so you get 2 Wraithwalks in the time you get 1 Death Pact, but some people like it. Not for me personally. The next line we have here is Gathering Storm, Hyperthermic Presence, Glacial Advance. So I'm not gonna I'll explain what you can do with this, but I'm going to tell you that I don't think it's worth it. It's a lot of min-maxing and no one does it really. So Glacial Advance applies, the rune you're going to be using is Rune of Razor Ice, okay? So Glacial Advance applies Rune of Razor Ice. So what this means is that you could use a different rune and then you could use this to stack up the Rune of Razor Ice for you. So that way it's like you have 2 runes, but the playstyle feels very clunky with it, okay? Feels very clunky, and it's not, I don't think it's worth doing. So Hyperthermic Presence, it just gives you more runic power, reduces the runic power of your abilities for 8 seconds. So you could use this with Death Strike and just spam heal yourself. So this could actually be a good defensive this season. So if you need, you could go ahead and use this, and then just, once you use that, just spam Death Strikes to heal yourself infinitely. But as for me, I'm going to be sticking with Gathering Storm. So each rune you spend during a Remorseless Winter is going to increase its duration and its damage. So that's what I'm going to be using, personally. The last line we have, Ice Cap, Obliteration, Breath of Sindragosa. So I don't think you're going to be using Ice Cap. What I'm using is Obliteration with Murderous Efficiency, because it gives you free guaranteed Obliterate procs, which those hit quite hard right now, especially since Pillar of Frost just got buffed, right? So it's just nice to have on-demand damage that you can just guarantee like 10k hits instantly. So I'm going to stick with that personally. The next thing we have here is Breath of Sindragosa, which did just get buffed, okay? So we are not going to write this talent off. If you want to cleave, so this is more single target, this is more cleave, okay? You could use this, and then when you grip blind stun them, you pop this off and you start cleaving everybody. I'm not going to say this is bad. This could be good still, so keep that in mind. You can try that if you like it. But this is the build that I'm going to be using, okay? This is the build I used last season. This is the build I'm going to be using this season. And this is the build that's been working good for me. It feels very strong. Okay, very strong. So, moving on to the next part here, we're going to look at the PvP talents, okay? So, these, I'm just going to show you what I'm using baseline. So, baseline for me is this combination right here, which is very weird because I'm gonna be honest, this wasn't even on my radar, like not for Frost at least. I didn't think it was gonna be that crazy. But here's the thing. Like, you're running at a monk, you have an extra grip. You're anything that kites you, you have an extra grip. Like, I use this into hunters, I use this into monks, I use this into like anything where I don't need something else on the list, I use this. And I'm gonna explain all of these to you, but so let's just go through the list. So this is what I use baseline though. You know what Chill Streak is already, right? It hasn't changed, okay? It's the same old Chill Streak. It got nerfed slightly, but everything else got buffed, so who cares? The next thing we have here is Strangulate. This is new, all right? So it's just a 4-second silence. So like I said, you're gonna use this off your other CC that you have. And I don't think, you're pretty much never gonna change this challenge, okay? There might be the occasional time where you wanna play super defensive, but other than that, it's pretty unreal of a talent. Like, I haven't switched it once since I started using it, I'll tell you that much. So we're gonna take it from the top here and go through all the new talents though, and I'm gonna tell you situations where you can use them, okay? So Death Chill, I wouldn't recommend you play this, okay? I never played it once last season, I never am gonna play it this season. I honestly would just write this one off. Or makes you Remorseless Winter. Sorry, it gives them a root, but like you already have chains and it's just not good. Just don't waste your time with this. Delirium. Okay, so this has changed from last season. Delirium is a little different. Last season it was 2 stacks that you had to stack up and it would give you the cooldown recovery rate slowing effect on them. Per stack it would increase. But with this one, it's actually 1 stack now. So all you do is throw up 1 Howling Blast and then boom, they got the Delirium on them and it slows the recovery rate. So that's going to be good against mages, monks, anything with mobility enhancing ability or movement abilities like blink, roll, port, anything like that. Any movement abilities. All right, it's gonna be good into those. And as for these talents, which one you're gonna switch? Like I said, you're gonna keep Strangulate probably. The only time I'm not gonna play Chill Streak probably is if I know I'm not gonna be able to get Chill Streaks against them. If I can't get Chill Streaks against them, I probably won't play it. But other than that, you're pretty much gonna play it a lot. Yeah, so let's keep looking at these. So, and as far as these, I'd probably trade out this one the most, the top one, when I'm switching stuff. So Shroud of Winter, this is new. This talent is actually pretty interesting. It's really good. I'm going to give you some situations where it's good, and I'm going to explain it to you really quick. Enemies within 8 yards of you become shrouded in winter, reducing the range of their spells and abilities by 30%, okay? So you might be thinking about this and think, oh, that doesn't sound that crazy. Like, what's a situation this is good? Well, let me give you a couple that I've experienced personally in Arena. So this is what I've been doing, all right? So say you're fighting Rogue Shadow Priest in 2s. What you do is you hit the Rogue, your healer stands far away from you, and then what this means is, while you're standing on the Rogue, he has 30% less range on his abilities. So what does the Rogue want to do when you're on him, right? He wants to shadow step to your healer and then either kidney him and then come back to you, or shadow step blind or something. He wants to just shadow step to your healer and kick him or something like that, right? But with this, he can't shadow step to him, right? So it works with anything like that. If you're on a mage, he's trying to poly your healer. He can't poly you because he's not in range, right? Whatever you're on, you're just going to be slowing down, like, you're just going to be pretty much aidsing what they're trying to do. Because they're not going to be able to get your healer unless they run at your healer to get closer within range. So it's actually really good. I like to use this into rogues especially. Rogue, Shadow Priest, yeah, that kind of thing. Dark Sim. So this is the same as always. It just steals an ability. Enemies casting an ability, you use it right as their cast is about to end, and then you get the ability too. But with Strangulate, I don't think you're gonna. I don't really see you using this too much with Strangulate, because Strangulate is like guaranteed. I think it's just better. But you can still play Dark Sim if you really want to. You could swap out Strangulate maybe, but I don't see it. Dead of Winter, useless talent. Dome of Ancient Shadows. Okay, so this is the same as always, right? Increases your anti-magic zone by 60%. So if it's already 20% and it increases it by 60%, should be 80%. But the thing is, they changed zone a little bit now. So zone has a cap of damage that it takes. It takes 88k damage. If you spec it bigger, I'm pretty sure it's more, but it's still good talent, right? If anyone's killing your teammates, like if you're seeing a fire mage, boomkin, anything like that, you have to take this talent, okay? Make sure you take this talent because you need to be able to zone your partners. It's the same as last season in that respect. But yeah, this is still very good. Okay, Spell Warden. Oh, let me take a drink here. So as of this morning, or sorry, as of last night, this talent seems to be glitched and it's not actually proccing or doing anything. But before it was glitched and it was actually working, this talent, insane, actually insane. Let me just show you. Let me give you a little run through. Okay, this is Spell Warding. A rune that deflects 3% of all spell damage and taking magic damage has a chance to create a shield that absorbs magic damage equal to 10% of your maximum health. When an enemy damages that shield, their cast speed is reduced by 10% for 6 seconds. So, to my understanding, it says is applied to you with 100% increased effect, so it's doubled, right? So what it's going to be doing is it's going to be proccing a passive shield on you. It's also going to be, when the enemies attack you, it's going to be slowing their casting by 20%, or if it's doubled, it's going to be 20%, if not, it's 10. But basically, so what this, I'll give you the long and the short of it. So what this does is, I use this in 2s against casters. Like, say if I don't need zone or something, I'll use this instead against casters. And this paired with Deathstrike, actually, like, I was actually out healing my healers with this combination. So this talent is insane, literally insane. So if you need to, you can swap out this. So say you're fighting double caster, right? We'll say you could swap out Death's Echo for Spell Warded and swap out Chill Streak for Zone, and then boom, you're completely like magic immune almost at that point. Let's see what's next. Bitter Chill. Okay, this is the last one we're going to talk about here. Bitter Chill. So this one is also very good. Chains of Ice reduces the target's haste by 8%. Frost Strike refreshes the duration of Chains of Ice. So what this is going to mean is you can play this instead of Death's Echo or something. And because a lot of the time is Frost, so you're pretty much killing with your Pillar of Frost goes, right? So in between Pillar of Frost, you're kind of just trying to live, right? And mostly what you're going to be doing is you're spamming Chains of Ice. So this is just going to also throw an 8% haste debuff on the enemy when you're spamming chains, which you're already doing, right? And it's also going to let Frost Strike reset the chains, so that's going to be one less global to use on chains, so you can spam more chains on the off target, or you can spam more DPS, one of the two. But as far as the PvP talents, that's all, and yeah, like I said, you're mostly going to keep these two and switch out the top one, but in some situations you can switch out the Chill Streak and go full magic tank or go full like disruption, whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, there's not one cut and dry set for the talents. There's many different ways you can combine them. So just go ahead and practice with those and find what you like based on what I just explained. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about here is the stat priority, okay? It's going to be verse, mastery, haste, crit. That's all there is to it, just like that, okay? Okay, now we're going to cover the legendaries, which again is going to not take very long because there's only one you're going to play, really. Maybe two. You might be able to play the other one if you really want to, but the most important legendary right here is going to be Frostworm's Fury, reduced by 50% cooldown and freezes all 3 enemies. It's going to be the Absolute Zero is the name of the legendary, of course. Absolute Zero. But yeah, so it's just going to be an AoE stun. Like, look at this right here. Boom. You just stun everything. So that's perfect for you because then you can get your chill streaks, everything like that. You can use it defensively, offensively. It's just very versatile, very strong ability. Also, the dragon does damage too, so there's that. The only other legendary you're going to use as Frost is potentially, okay? I don't think this is better. I'm pretty sure the one I just told you is going to be better in every single situation. But in the niche situation, potentially this could be better for you. Let me just show you it. So this one right here, Kaltira's Favor. Obliterate deals 10% more damage and has a 12% chance to refund 2 runes. So say you're Kyrian or something and you have the mastery increases and everything like that. You could maybe play a full Obliterate build and play this legendary, play Kyrian, do all the things to just make your Obliterates. But I don't think it's better than Absolute Zero. I think what I'm recommending you is probably significantly better. But you could do that. I'm not taking it off the table. So there's that. Next, we're going to talk about your DPS rotation, okay? The DPS rotation. So it's not going to be very hard for Frost, right? Your normal rotation, that is. So all you're going to do as Frost is, if you're playing Gathering Storm, you want to open with your open with Remorseless Winter, and then you're going to Howling Blast to put your dot up, okay? So Remorseless Winter, Howling Blast, see, look, you're building your stacks, and you're going to obliterate twice, still building your Remorseless Winter stacks, and then you're just going to dump your runes in Frost Strikes, okay? Frost Strikes or Death Strikes if you need healing. If you get a proc, you obliterate. If you get a Howling Blast proc, you do that. The only time you press Howling Blast is if they don't have your dot on them currently, your Frost Fever, or if it lights up, okay? That's the only time you're going to be pushing it. As for Remorseless Winter, you're going to push that on cooldown pretty much. Basically on cooldown. So, just to recap, you're going to Remorseless Winter, prioritize Remorseless Winter, you're going to Howling Blast if they don't have a dot, or if you have a proc, you're going to prioritize Obliterate before everything else after that. And then finally, if you can't Obliterate, you're going to be dumping Runic Power with Frost Strike, or healing yourself with Death Strike, depending on your health situation at the time. So as far as the normal rotation goes, pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. Just Remorseless Winter on cooldown, keep your dot up, and then spam Obliterate. Pretty simple. The burst rotation is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but not really. So Chill Streak, the ability bounces between 2 targets, right? And they need to be within 6 yards of each other. So 6 yards is probably about this close to me at the end of the target. So this is like max range for it. So you want to be as close as possible to have 2 targets as close as possible to each other. So I'll show you the go, alright? But this is how it's going to be. And as far as A-Bomb Lamb, I'll explain that after. So say you're going to pop your damage right now, right? So this is what it's going to look like. I'm not going to do it yet. I'll explain it first and then I'll do it. So you're going to say I'm going to mark them up for us. So this is your kill target. And then this is the other person on the team, okay? You're hitting this target. You're hitting Skull. What you're going to do is you're going to grip the other person over. I can't do it to show you, but we're going to grip the other person over. You're going to blind them both. They're blinded really close to each other. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pop Pillar of Frost, Empowered Rune Weapon, and your Dragon. You're going to pop that. The Dragon's going to stun them. And then you're just going to throw your Chill Streak. Once your Chill Streak's bouncing, you're either going to Frost Strike or Obliterate, both of which are going to make your Obliterate a crit, right? Because of how your obliteration works. Because when you pop your Pillar of Frost while you have the obliteration talent, what it's going to do is it's going to make every single Frost Strike or Howling Blast you do is going to turn your next obliterate into a critical strike. So you're going to grip, you're going to blind them both, you're going to pop Pillar of Frost, Empowered Rune Weapon, you're going to shoot your Dragon, and then you're going to drop your Chill Streak. The Chill Streak's bouncing, you're either going to Frost Strike or you're going to Howling Blast depending on if you have a Howling Blast proc. If you don't, you're going to use the Frost Strike. And then it's going to make your Obliterate be a crit, okay? And you're just going to keep rotating between Howling Blast, Obliterate, or Frost Strike, Obliterate, whichever one procs, so that you can make your Obliterate crit. And that's all there is to your damage rotation, okay? As far as the A-Bomb Limb goes, I just made a video previous to this one showing you about a mechanic with A-Bomb Limb where if the targets are blinded and you stand on top of somebody with A-Bomb Limb, it's not going to grip until the blind breaks. So you can blind them both. If they're too far away, you can stand on top of the person, pop A-Bomb Limb, and then shoot your dragon. And once the dragon stuns the far away person, it'll grip them, and then you just Pillar Chill Streak, right? But so you can use your A-Bomb Limb to either save your go and set it up if you grip them too far away, or you can just pop your A-Bomb Limb. You can blind them, pop A-Bomb Limb, and then Pillar Frost Dragon, and like just throw the A-Bomb Limb before you stun them, so that you can have extra damage with the go. But there's a bunch of different ways to use A-Bomb Limb, but you can use it before the go, you can use it to set up the go, you can use it separate from the go just to scare them into baiting cooldowns, anything like that. But as far as the DPS and the burst rotation, that's pretty much it. If you're not using Chill Streak, it's even simpler. You're just gonna Pillar of Frost, and then you're gonna Frost Strike or Obliterate to get, Frost Strike or Howling Blast to get the Obliterate crits. Like watch, I'll show you again, look. I pop my Pillar of Frost. I don't have Frost Strike right now, but I drop a Howling Blast because he has no dot. Boom. Now look, I drop a Frost Strike, it procs again. But in that situation, you would have wanted to press Howling Blast because it lit up. But you see it, you just keep rotating between the two, and it's just going to keep critting. But you want to stack your Razor Ice up before you do that. But all right, fellas, the final thing here we're going to run through is Soulbinds and Conduits, okay? I'm going to just give a quick little run through of each one, what I'm probably going to be playing, and yeah, we'll let you know. So, what I'm playing right now is Plague Divisor Marilith. This is probably what I'm going to be playing the whole season, to be honest. This is what I played last season, all the way to 2970 or whatever. But I personally just like Plague Divisor the most. So it's going to be a little bit tanky for you. So when you use Fleshcraft, you can absorb people's corpses and make it even bigger. So that's just a little bit of a nice thing there. The Frictionless Ooze coating was nerfed in PvP, but it's a free shield every 30 seconds. Free shield, we like that. These are just the things. And then Fleshcraft. Okay, ultimate form. This makes your Fleshcraft, make it so that you can't get CC'd, right? So if somebody's casting a clone on you, Fleshcraft. Someone's casting a poly on you, Fleshcraft. Someone's gonna come stun you, you Fleshcraft. It's just really good for eating CC. As far as that goes, the next thing we're gonna get here is a 70% snare, or sorry, a 70% slow whenever you're struck by a snare. 70% slow. That's just passive puddle on the ground. So, I mean, hey, you don't have to worry about it. It just drops a puddle on the ground. If you're getting snared a lot, I mean, it's only one puddle every 60 seconds, but still, just a free 70% slow. This isn't that crazy. Not really on my radar that much. Mostly looking for this. The next thing here is the one that I think is important. So Kevin's Oozling. Abomination's Limb summons Kevin's Oozling to fight alongside you for 40 seconds. So the way that this is, and it also increases the damage they take from you by 6%. So the way that this is going to play out is you're probably going to pop your A-Bomb Limb a little bit before your go, or right before it, and then you're going to have Kevin on them, and then Kevin's going to start hitting, and then boom, you're just going to do 6% more damage in your Chill Streak. So this is the one that I'm thinking. It also has some defensive. It periodically grants you a shield and your allies, so it has some defensive utility as well. So this is the one that I'm thinking I'm gonna play, or Emny. I'll explain why I might play Emny too. So if you're playing a melee cleave, especially, Emny is really good, okay? Abomination Limb increases your strength by 5% and up to 4 nearby allies. Primary stat by 2% for 20 seconds. You gain 2% strength for each additional ally affected. So that's 4% extra strength. So you're gonna get 9% strength when you pop A-Bomb Limb. 9% strength, and you're gonna give your teammates stats too. So pretty good overall. Even if you're not with a melee cleave, actually, just because it gives whatever your teammate's primary stat is what it's gonna give them. So pretty useful overall. The next thing, Fleshcraft. This isn't that crazy. Whatever, 30 seconds. I mean, it's still good if you use it at the start of the game. It's an extra 5% health. So this row has some good stuff. It has the fear when reduced below 20% health, you may fear nearby enemies for 3.5 seconds. Pretty sure when you use Lichborn, it resets this. When Lichborn falls off, it resets this. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but You could use this for defensives. Switch to this. It's pretty good. Or you can use this, just movement speed. It's whatever. Nothing crazy. So this one, after standing still for 5 seconds, increases your movement speed of you and your allies. I could see how this could be insane for like Walking Dead or something. Something that you just want to run down the target. That could be pretty good. This is just like a magic shield. While you're above 90% health, you get a magic shield. So imagine this. Imagine this shield paired with the spell warden I showed you about earlier in Zone or something. You can just become completely unkillable to mages, it seems like. And the last thing here, Pustule Eruption. Fleshcraft covers you in 3 pustules per 1 second channel. Taking damage or being healed, pops a pustule, dealing nature damage to a nearby enemy and healing nearby allies. So pretty good, healing and damage. Not as cool as the 6% damage added from the pet in my opinion, but I mean, definitely still playable. So I'd say either of these two are playable. I'll probably play Plague Divisor just because I like it and I played it for so long, but we'll see. The next row, I would honestly say this is just for RBGs. I mean, it could be good in Arena, but I see this mostly as an RBG build because of the fact that upon death, you come back to life for a few seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it says, 10 seconds, and you can just keep spinning flags in RBGs like that. So it's just extra life to spin the flag. And also this one right here, after landing 10 critical strikes, you gain 18% increased crit. So if you're in an RBG, you're going to be hitting a lot of people at once, right? So you're going to be getting that crit a lot easier. So as far as RBGs go, I say this one is probably the move. As far as PvP goes, I'd stick with one of these two. And then for the conduits, you're going to be able to have, 3 potency conduits. So for Frost, let's say, you could play this one, you could play this one, you could play Accelerated Cold, you could play Eradicating Blow, you could play Everfrost. You can pretty much play any one that you want. The most important one that you want to make sure you play, though, is Accelerated Cold, because that's the best one. The rest of them are just personal preference to you, okay? As far as Endurance, when you take any damage, heal for... I think this could be actually pretty good. So, Endurance, I'd say Insatiable Appetite is what I'm using 100% of the time. Condensed Animosphere seems good. I would play that as well. If you're fighting casters, you could swap to this, Reinforced Shell. And Hardened Bones, if you don't like Insatiable Appetite, you can feel free to play Hardened Bones. But I usually use Lichborn. I honestly use my Lichborn offensively most of the time. So, I don't really run Hardened Bones, but I mean, a lot of people do. It's not bad. And Finesse Conduits. As you can see, I don't have too many, but what you're going to want for the Finesse Conduits is, I recommend Fleeting Wind is pretty good. Or the other Finesse Conduit that you could play is the one that makes your... I'll show you it really quickly. Where is it? This one, Chilled Resilience. Makes your Icebound... It reduces the cooldown of your Icebound Fortitude. So this is the other one I'm going to play. I'm going to get this from the braid. I just don't have it. I just don't have it right now for some reason, but that's the other one I would play. So, with all that information, you should be set to push rating in Season 1 when it starts next Tuesday. I wanted to get the guide out for you guys before then so that you could drink it in, you could practice it first. But I think this covers pretty much everything that you need to know to succeed. If you have any general comp questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or my live stream on twitch.tv/Partywafflesx, where I stream every day at 3 p.m. Eastern, except Sunday and Tuesdays. But yeah, I think you guys should be set to succeed. The Unholy Guide will be coming out very soon as well. I just wanted to get this one done first. Like I said, it should be done before Tuesday, the other one. If you like the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and drop a comment. I'll see you guys later on the next video. Peace.